What do you think God's basic attitude towards you is after you've just surrendered to lust? Most guys, if they're really honest, would say, he's a holy God. I'm sure that he's disgusted with me. And then I will say to a guy, let me ask you a question. If your boss wanted to have breakfast with you once a week, every Monday morning, but you thought he found you to be disgusting, that his basic attitude towards you was he was disgusted with you, would you want to have breakfast with him? And what I find is a light bulb comes on in guys' minds. And all of a sudden they realize that Satan, the accuser of the brethren, is burying them under a load of shame over the guilt that Christ has paid for. That Satan, the accuser of the brethren, has convinced a guy that he's repulsive to a holy God, when in fact that guy has been clothed with the righteousness of Christ, and that man is the delight of God's heart. Look at the analogies of Scripture. The analogy of a bride, as a bridegroom delights in his bride, so your God will delight in you. Or the analogy of a father who delights in his son. And so what I have come to believe about this battle for the heart of a man, as I see the idol of lust taking over in so many men's lives, is that if they're allowing shame to overcome them, then that shame's going to push them away from the very intimacy with Christ himself, which Paul said to the Corinthians was the answer to his deepest longings. Paul's answer for those who are struggling with lust in 1 Corinthians 6 is not try harder. It was, don't you know that you were made for God and he's the answer to your deepest longings? Satan knows that if he can bury guys under shame, that they will be repulsed away. They will go somewhere else, further down into themselves, further into isolation, the very isolation that makes them hunger for the false intimacy of illicit sexual involvement.